Jai Shri Ram. This is day 8 of Valmiki Ramayana for kids by Pranav Shankar. Yesterday we covered Vali's death, the beginning of the search for Sita, the return of the north, east and western divisions, the southern division's encounter with Sampati, and the beginning of Hanuman's leap to Lanka. Hanuman flies with great speed. However, on his way, a large mountain by name Mainakam appears in the middle for him to rest. To appease the mountain's wish, he hugs it and moves on. Next, he encounters a huge snake demon by name Surasa, who demands that he enter her mouth to be eaten. Hanuman increases in size as she increases the size of her mouth. This continues on until Hanuman suddenly shrinks and zips in and out of her mouth, appeasing her wish. After that, he encounters Simhika, a Chayagrahi or demoness who pulls objects and things out of the sky by their shadow and kills her. Overcoming these obstacles, he descended on a peak of Trikuta hill in Lanka. He surveyed Lanka from the top of this hill and was struck by the beauty of Lanka. It was strongly protected all around with moats and warriors. He decided to enter the city in a diminished size at nightfall to remain undetected. When darkness fell, he went to the main gate of Lanka. The guardian of the city, Lankini, stopped him. He punched her in her head or gave a kuttu. Lankini immediately left the city, predicting its destruction. Hanuman placed his left foot first on the soil to mark inauspiciousness for Lanka. Passing through the streets, he examined every mansion and home. He made use of the occasion to assess the strength of Ravana's forces and weapons. Soon he reached the royal palace and entered the private apartments of Ravana. He was amazed at Ravana's lavish lifestyle of luxury and richness exhibited all over the palace. He surveyed all of the sleeping women as he searched for Sita. He saw one beautiful woman lying asleep on a magnificent couch, profusely adorned with ornaments. Hanuman took her to be Sita and jumped up in joy. However, in reality, it was Mandodari, Ravana's wife. After some time, he realized that she could not be Sita, as Sita would not be dressed in that manner given her sorrowful position. He felt very ashamed at his wrongful conclusion. Having searched for Sita everywhere and not finding her, Hanuman became desperate. But he pulled himself together with good reasoning and resolved to search other unexplored locations. Just then he saw a beautiful grove with high walls all around, which he did not remember to have seen before. Fervently praying for success, he jumped up and sat on the wall and surveyed the beautiful park. He climbed up a tall Shimshupa tree, having a platform at the base. On a branch, he sat hidden by the leaves and looked around. Suddenly, his eyes fell on the platform. To his great joy, at last, he saw Sita, a thin and pale woman, tears flowing down her eyes, her body wrapped in a yellow silk sari with no ornaments and jewelry, her simple beauty glowing. She was guarded by Rakshasis wielding weapons. Hanuman was very distressed to see her in that condition. As dawn approached, Ravana was woken up from his sleep by the sound of Vedic chants of Brahmins and songs. Surrounded by his entourage, he went to the Ashokavana, the place where Sita was. Sita scorned at him and advised him to give up and surrender to Rama. Ravana got very angry and warned her of eating her for breakfast if she did not change her mind within the next 2 months. He told the Rakshasis to work with her through persuasions and intimidations. Sita could not bear the menace of the Rakshasis and burst into tears. Hanuman had been watching the full scene from above. He started to narrate the story of Rama in a sweet tone. Sita listened to those words and felt very happy. Casting her eyes around, she looked up and noticed Hanuman. Immediately, she doubted the monkey's intentions and considered the sight of a monkey a bad omen. She began to weep once again, fearing some tragedy. Hanuman thought that the time was ripe to reveal his identity. He came down from the tree and stood in front of her with folded hands and head bowed and began talking to her. She heard a lot about Rama from Hanuman and was convinced that he had been sent by Rama himself. To her great joy, Hanuman gave her the ring of Rama. But the thought of Rama brought tears in her eyes. Seeing her grief, Hanuman offered to carry Sita to Rama at once. Sita, however, pointed out the dangers of taking such a venture, as it would bring discredit to Rama's greatness. She asked Hanuman to bring Rama and Lakshmana to Lanka soon and win her back by defeating Ravana in a battle. Hanuman asked Sita to give a token that would convince Rama that he had met her. Sita gave him her Chudamani, or crest jewel, and told him to give it to Rama. Jai Shri Ram.